Hey, let's not preamble for too long. I really like Hazbin Hotel, and if you don't believe me, I have a 38-minute video where I talk about why it's one of my favorite shows ever, and a nearly 3-hour-long ranking video for all the songs and musical numbers that doubles as an analysis for the characters and overall story. You think that would be enough, right? Nope, there's a lot of stuff packed into this show, a lot of which I didn't cover in my previous 2 videos, so I figured it would be fun to do a video series where I go over everything I noticed or liked throughout the episodes of Season 1. And there will be some theory crafting for Season 2 as well. I know Season 2 got leaked, but I refuse to look at them, so I will theorize and guess as usual. The lengths of these videos will also probably vary by quite a bit, just depending on how much I have to say about any given episode. And I will be trying not to repeat anything I already said in my previous 2 videos. So if you find yourself thinking that I'm missing out on a lot of interesting talking points, that's probably why. That all being said, this is Noah's Archive. I am Noah Yun, actor, voice actor, writer, and aspiring filmmaker. And for today's video, I am once again pulling out the series which caused me to have to re-upload the same almost 3-hour video 16 times, as I talk about everything I liked and noticed in Hazbin Hotel Season 1, Episode 1, Overture. First thing in this video will actually be a theory starting with the backstory of Hell and exterminations told via the storybook-like opening sequence. I don't think it's said who the book Charlie seems to be reading from is written by, but if we assume it's Lilith, it's very possible that the story Charlie and we the viewers are being told is not entirely true. Right now Lilith is too much of an unknown to say if she has good or evil intentions, but if nothing else, we know she spent the past 7 years in heaven without telling Charlie, so she's not above keeping secrets. And also like Lucifer, she abandoned her daughter for years on end. So what if Adam immediately demanding Lilith submit to his will, which kickstarts the chain of events that results in Eve eating the fruit of knowledge, isn't actually what happened? Maybe Adam wasn't always the cruel misogynistic figure we see him as in the show. Maybe it's whatever went down with Lilith and Eve that broke him and turned him into the jaded, crude, and obnoxious character we come to know. Or if we're not being directly lied to by the Book of Hell, maybe there's just more to the story that isn't recorded in it. Missing details or facts that would recontextualize the actions that everyone took leading up to the creation of Hell. I would not be surprised if we revisit this backstory in the future, especially as Lilith becomes more involved in the story. Also, I hope to see Eve at some point as well. Moving on. Extermination Bell is golden to match Heaven's color scheme. Nice. The drawing of the Hazbin Hotel that Alastor's commercial ends on has a lot going for it, such as the part that says, "ship, I guess," showing that Alastor is just as confused as I am to why that's part of the hotel. It'd be funny if in a future season they have to chase someone, and it just turns out that the ship part is fully functional and they chase after them in it. He also makes it very well known that his radio broadcast tower is the best part, and that he named the hotel, which he finds very amusing judging by the ha-ha in front of that statement. He also promises that there's no tacky circus decor, which feels like a dig at Lucifer with his ringleader-inspired design, and I think it's very impressive that Alastor's already beefing with him, considering that they haven't even met yet. Maybe whoever has control of Alastor secretly hates Lucifer. Just a thought. This line here,
"When you showed up here a week ago, you told us you would help run this hotel,"
shows that this episode takes place 1 week after the original pilot, and it won't be the only reference to the pilot in the series.
I swear, if you film me going at it with Mr. Fancy Talk Creepy Voice here, you'd be rolling in participants willing to stay at this tacky hotel.
Haha! Never going to happen.
Canon. Of course, Lucifer's contact photo in Charlie's phone is a rubber duck. After Charlie spins Vaggie around at the beginning of Happy Day in Hell, there's a really quick moment where I thought Vaggie wipes away golden blood from her nose, but on closer inspection, I think it's just the light coming through the windows of the hotel shining onto her fingers. That would be some crazy in-your-face foreshadowing though that I doubt many people would have noticed when first watching it. And even though that doesn't seem to be the case, I thought it was a fun thought worth mentioning. Besides, there's other foreshadowing to Vaggie's past as an exorcist, like later in the song when she sings, "They're bloodthirsty and deranged," which you would assume is about the residents of Hell but is actually about Adam and the exorcists.
What is required, we all have our role.
I recognize you there, Keith David. This song makes it a point to establish how bustling the porn industry is in Hell, which on its own is a fun quirk of the setting, but becomes more important later on when we meet the V's and deal with Valentino in episode 4. You can also see the V's tower briefly in the song, which is cool. I understand that gold and yellow just go along nicely with red in general, but I do like how the background notes during the final section to Happy Day in Hell are gold, which I think is a nice representation of how Charlie is half angel on her father's side. Good for you, man. Another nice bit of continuity with the Extermination Hourglass Bell is that the number on it is 358, the pilot that has already been established as taking place a week ago, starting right after an extermination finished. I just like the attention to detail and the active effort to still make sure the pilot is seen as canon. Why does Loot still have blood on her uniform? The extermination was a week ago. They do wash clothes in heaven, right? Or maybe it's not needed because people in heaven don't have dead skin cells that fall into their clothes and there's no dirt or bacteria. Still though, Loot, just visit a laundromat or something, sheesh. Or maybe Adam likes seeing his exorcist in bloody attire? I'm gonna stop this line of thought before things get weird. Little statue of a biblically accurate angel in the background is a nice touch. Shout out to Adam for looking right through the screen into my beady little eyes when he mentions ugly people. I thought it was just global warming or something that makes people's eyes explode whenever they look at me, but now I know the truth. Thanks, Adam. So Nifty's gonna be useless against Vox in Season 2, right? Considering Vox has cameras seemingly everywhere, and this is how she reacts to being on camera? Vox isn't even gonna have to use his hypnosis powers on her, just stick a live camera in front of her. Her reaction is actually pretty close to what I do whenever I try to go off script in these videos. Now given this could all just be a one-off instance where she just isn't good when it comes to acting on camera due to stage fright or something, but it will be interesting to see if this idea is followed up in any way. Also, she was on camera when she was fighting and killing Adam in the finale, but she wasn't aware of that fact, so this theory could still hold water.
Maybe we can try to fix it in post.
Do you even know what that means?
Do you even know what that means? Actually, wait, you're in the porn film industry, so yeah, you actually have a reason to know what it means. And you do own a smartphone, so you're not unfamiliar with modern technology and concepts.
I'll figure it out.
I mentioned this in my ranking video briefly, but this is a cool instance of Vaggy's bow resembling devil horns when she's angry. How bad was the footage Vaggy got? She's just watching static on the TV, or maybe that old-timey TV can't process whatever the video camera has.
Este pendejo, why are you even here?
If you're like me and don't retain any of the Spanish you learned during your 2 classes in high school because you were too busy fantasizing about going home to play Shadow the Hedgehog on the PS2, what Vaggy's saying here is, this asshole. At least according to Google Translate, which may not be the most reliable thing, but for 2 relatively simple words, I'd like to think it got it right.
Fine.
So I really doubt this will be the case, but one thing that's interesting to think about is if Alastor will help Charlie and the others when the V's, especially Vox, do whatever shenanigans they're gonna in Season 2 that's gonna screw with the hotel. Because according to the deal he made with Vaggy, she can never ask him to engage with frivolous television technology again. And Vox is a TV. Given all he said is she can't ask, so it's not like he can't help of his own volition, but maybe he'll use this deal with Vaggy to wring another deal out of Charlie or someone else for his help when the V's start causing trouble. Or maybe it only specifically applies to Vaggy and Charlie can still ask with no issue. Regardless, it's a fun line of thought. The outfits Alastor poofs onto everyone for the commercial are the same ones he dresses everyone up in during Alastor's reprise from the pilot, except Vaggy's is a bit different. Nice callback.
I've never made a mistake in my fucking life.
Adam saying he never makes mistakes is kinda crazy when he raised the world's first murderer, at least assuming Kane is a character in the world of Hazbin Hotel, which I'm inclined to think he is considering we've got an official artwork of Abel, and his teeth and halo both look chipped, which I assume is a reference to how Cain killed him. I don't believe it's mentioned in the Bible how Cain killed Abel, but I know a lot of people believe it was done with a stone if nothing else. If Abel's gonna be a part of Hazbin Hotel, I'd assume Cain has to be at some point too. It would be interesting to see how they handle him. If they'll incorporate the mark that God puts upon him, which makes it so if anyone kills him, vengeance shall be taken on him sevenfold, to quote Genesis 4:15. Or maybe they'll do something completely different or unique with his backstory. I love that in the new commercial, Nifty still has the 1,000-yard stare that looks like how I reacted after Adam called me ugly, and Alastor is cut off at the side of the screen, doing his usual staticky glitch thing that he does when he's in a video recording. We see in the final episode of Season 1 that he can appear without visual glitches while being recorded, because Vox is able to watch him get beaten by Adam through his cameras, which means Alastor is actively choosing to still hide himself in visual noise in the new commercial. I know me reading text that scrolls by isn't exactly the most thought-provoking of content, but since the text at the bottom of the news report does scroll by pretty fast.
Holy shit, the extermination is happening in 6 months! This is not a drill! Confirmed! Legit! Fuck! Savajum! We all dead soon! Why does this always happen to me?
And that's it for this video. I hope you all enjoyed it, and if there's any details or fun facts I missed, please feel free to point them out to me in the comments. Because despite this being my 4th rewatch of Hazbin Hotel, I wanna say, there's just a lot to digest in this show and I find myself picking up new things upon every watch. And I also just like discussing Hazbin Hotel with everyone in the comments of my video, so bring it on. Thank you as always to everyone for watching this video. If you enjoyed it and want to see more Hazbin content from me, as well as other stuff like visual novel reviews and analysis of various media, please consider subscribing to my channel and checking out some of my other videos. And of course, thank you to the people who are already subscribed and continue to support this channel. And a quick shout shout out to the 2 members of the Noah's Archivist tier on this channel, Big Tasty and Christina Semitonis. Last thanks goes to the amazing as always editor of these videos, Otaku Box, who has a lot of cool content on his channel that I recommend checking out. A link to his channel can be found in the description of the video. This has been Noah's Archive. I hope you enjoyed your time with me, and I will see you all in the next video.
Hell is forever, whether you like it.